The cold iron gates of the billionaire's mansion loomed like a barrier between two worlds. A young man, Daniel, barely in his 20s, stood with a worn-out backpack and hope in his eyes. He had come to meet the father he never knew, a man of wealth and power who had abandoned his mother years ago. The butler eyed Daniel with contempt, sneering at his ragged shoes. "You don't belong here," he said coldly, but Daniel's voice trembled with determination. "I just want to meet my father." From the balcony above, Richard Harrington, Daniel's father, appeared in a tailored suit. His piercing eyes scanned the boy, and his lips curled in disgust. "I owe you nothing," Richard said. "Leave." Daniel's heart shattered. The father he had dreamed of embracing turned his back. The mansion doors slammed shut. Rain poured as Daniel stood alone, abandoned once more. Soaked and broken, Daniel walked down the empty street, but instead of despair, a fire began to burn within him. "If he won't claim me, I'll make the world know my name." Daniel worked odd jobs, cleaning dishes, carrying boxes, and sleeping in shelters. His hands bled, but his mind sharpened. Every insult became fuel for his dream. One evening, in a dusty bookstore, Daniel met Mr. Lawson, a retired professor who saw potential in his eyes. "You have hunger," Lawson said. "Let me teach you how to use it." By day, Daniel worked. By night, he devoured books on finance, leadership, and technology. Sleep became a luxury. Knowledge became his weapon. One sleepless night, Daniel sketched an idea, a platform that could change how small businesses connected with the world. It was bold. It was dangerous. It was his chance. Banks and investors laughed at him. "You're nobody," they sneered. "Go back to washing dishes." But Daniel only tightened his fists. A struggling single mother, Maria, whom Daniel once helped at a shelter, gave him her savings. "Your dream helped me believe again," she whispered. Tears filled Daniel's eyes. With Maria's help, Daniel rented a small garage. There he built his startup brick by brick, sleepless night after sleepless night. One morning, his platform went live. Within hours, small businesses signed up. The world had noticed him. Within months, Daniel's company spread like wildfire. Investors who once laughed now begged to join. The boy who was turned away was becoming unstoppable. Media headlines screamed, "The garage genius who changed business forever." Daniel's face appeared on magazine covers worldwide. At a gala, Daniel stood at the center of applause. Suddenly, he saw him, Richard Harrington, his father, watching in shock from the crowd. Richard pushed through the crowd. "My son," he whispered, trembling, but Daniel's eyes were cold. "Son, you denied me." The cameras turned. The crowd went silent. The billionaire who once rejected his child now stood humbled before him. Daniel's voice cut like a blade. "I needed a father then, not now." For the first time, Richard's proud mask cracked. Tears welled in his eyes. "Forgive me. I was wrong." Daniel hesitated. The boy inside him ached for a father's love, but the man he had become knew better. "I don't need your name to define mine." Weeks later, Richard's empire collapsed under scandal and corruption. The mighty billionaire had fallen. One rainy night, Richard found himself standing at the gates of Daniel's mansion. The roles had reversed. Daniel welcomed him inside, not with hate, but with dignity. "Now you know how it feels to be turned away." Daniel finally extended his hand. Not as a father, but as a man who needs another chance. Tears streamed down Richard's face as he accepted. Daniel stood before his employees, his new family, his new world. He had built everything with his own hands, and as fate turned the tables, he realized he was no longer the abandoned boy. He was the man destiny had chosen.